I'm going to try something new this year. Instead of just posting highlights and random vlogs and random raw talks once in a blue moon, I'm going to document my weeks. For one, accountability for myself, but two, so people can follow along on the journey, see the highs and the lows. I'll be transparent. This is week 2 of posting, and I'm going to just post a video every Monday of what went on the previous week. If any of you follow my Instagram, you'll have seen I started doing weekly reviews this year, which is something I have never done, but I've always had the intention of doing, and so far it has actually made a huge impact just going into the next week. You roll into the week with momentum. You know what you needed to fix from the last week, and rather than beat yourself up and keep all this shit in your head, you actually make an actionable plan to make a difference for the week that's coming up. So for myself, I very rarely like to sit and beat myself up for shit going wrong, but see, when things are far from where you want them to be, you need to have a certain level of introspection and, I suppose, self-accountability to look back and go, yeah, I messed up a bit there. Now, at the same time, if I was to look back from last year and think to myself, am I happy with where I'm at? I would say absolutely. But you can always get further. And at the same time, I could definitely have been a hell of a lot further ahead of my journey than I have been. But my priorities were elsewhere. I was focusing probably more on training than I was on building my business. Which is fair, but I mean, man's got to make money. Otherwise, man can't live life. So for myself, structure has always been the thing that falls behind. Structure and systems. Very good at being creative and acting in the moment. Being almost spontaneous. But when it comes to systemizing anything in life, it's probably where I fall short. So so far, I started off with systemizing my content. It's a bit more structure to it. And again, as per usual, I went a bit too much too soon. I tried to over commit myself to too many pieces of content, and I fell a bit short. And you know what? Rather than sit and beat myself up, I was just like, well, there's mistake number 1. So we learn from that and we move on. But it's a mistake that I've repeated multiple times. I'm sure a lot of people have. So now we actually need to act on it. And that's where these weekly reviews really come in, because they do make a huge difference. Now, what is the consequence of overcommitting ourselves to a workload? And that can be professionally, physically, even with relationships and friendships, whatever. When we overcommit ourselves to these things, we end up falling short, of course, and that really does have a negative impact on our confidence levels, our momentum, how we feel about ourselves. It's not good, because we then beat ourselves up for not sticking to the things that we wanted to do. If we do that too many times, it causes a lot of mental friction, and that's where we have momentum fall-offs. So that week there reinforced something that I already knew. Your workload needs to be achievable, not optimistic. So often I have overshot the runway with the amount of work that I needed to give to myself. And all that does is shoot down your momentum. And momentum is absolutely crucial for building long-term growth, whether that be physical, mental, or professional. So here's what needs to change. Next week, I've already mapped out my entire week, and the workload is what I think is achievable. I have, in the last week, realised what I am able to accomplish alongside training and client fulfillment and all these things that are so incredibly important. And I am going to execute on that. But again, we will come back this time next week and either be like, what a success, or be like, fuck's sake, I got it wrong again. And we'll keep doing this shit until I eventually get it right. Now, a really simple question you can ask yourself each week. If you don't want to do a whole review that takes 20-30 minutes, just ask yourself one simple question. If I live every week like that, will I become the type of person I want to become? If the answer is yes, then you probably don't need to do a weekly review. If the answer is no, then chances are you should sit down, answer some questions about yourself and your week, and map out a week that sees you progressing to that long-term version. Now, every week to wrap up, I will do my biggest wins followed by my losses, and we'll just rattle them out. So, biggest wins: finished and sent out my yearly reflections to clients. Now, what I've done with all my clients is sent them out a Google form, and on that had a load of questions reflecting on their year. And I took those questions, chucked them into a Canva presentation, so they could have it back in a nice format, something they can go and reflect on. And in that, I then just done a wee Loom video going over how incredible I thought they had all done and the things they could be working on in January to help themselves move closer to their goals. Now, on the back end of that, I fully caught up with client work, which is essentially getting everybody's programs rebuilt if they weren't aligned with their goals, and also getting all their 2026 goal setting, vision setting done. So we set one broad vision about where they see themselves in their future, and then we broke that into 3 goals and then actions on those goals. And lastly, I posted daily on TikTok. I was just posting like random raw talks of me talking to the camera, and I actually got halfway through the week and decided that posting on YouTube was significantly more important than posting on TikTok. So I actually scrapped the TikTok this week and have decided just to go to YouTube. As you can see, goals change, not a bad thing. Losses: my Instagram content was unorganized. It was a bit sporadic, and that's something that I am again working on. My Saturday post, was it, or Friday post, was bang on the money. That's exactly the type of thing that I was needing to post more of. So again, refine, get better, make adjustments. Training probably wasn't good enough. I am on the injured side of things, getting better. Hopefully be playing next week. However, my training from an upper body perspective could have been a lot better. And last one, too much reacting, not enough planning. So that's why I've made a big change this week. Spent about an hour and a half, maybe even 2, doing my weekly review and then aligning my calendar with my weekly review, getting loads of small shitty tasks done that would have just eaten me up through the week, like an invoice, ordered a couple of things that needed to be ordered for the biz. What else? There's a couple other little things that need to be done. So just getting these little small tasks that just play on your subconscious, getting them smashed rather than letting another week go by. So that is my wins and my losses, just 3 of each, nice and simple. These weekly reviews are not about perfection. They're actually about the complete opposite. If we're not consistently turning up and having the vulnerability to make mistakes and I suppose try something new, go down a path that seems a bit risky, then what the fuck is the point in living? Drop a like and a sub. It's been an absolute pleasure. Episode number 1, and I'll see you all next week.